name is Marina Bauernfeind. I'm from Musem Ulm, which is in the south of Germany, between Munich and Stuttgart.
Yeah, and I'm Alina Fuchte. I'm from the NRW-Forum in Düsseldorf and Kunstpalast. And the third name on the slide is not here today, unfortunately, but we try our best to represent her. And yeah, that's our presentation. Wow, cool. So we are going to present to you ArtChat, which is a museum app combining augmented reality, art and communication. And we are a joint project which is called Next Museum IO. And yeah, it's Musem Ulm, it's Kunstpalast and NRW-Forum. And it's also the University of Applied Science, especially the NRW lab we cooperated with.
Just a second. Anyone knowing Düsseldorf, the NRW-Forum? Has anybody been there? You have been there. Ah, okay. So maybe we just say that the NRW-Forum is an exhibition house with no collection. The Kunstpalast is a huge art museum with a huge collection. And the Musem Ulm is a city museum with a broad collection. So we are combining three very different houses with very different target groups, from the young and digital to the elderly ones interested in glass and archaeology and Renaissance and stuff like that. So...
Yeah, we are very different, but we do have some things in common. We think a lot about co-creation and participatory approaches for the museum visitor and the visitor experience, especially in art museums for us. And yeah, we did some observations. Maybe you know this feeling when you're in an art museum and you look at the art and then you look at the label, and sometimes you look longer at the label and more intensively than at the art itself. And yeah, if you see the label, you read it, it's sometimes a bit confusing, complicated, or at least written from one special perspective, from the curator usually. And we thought, that could be different. That's not like in time. We should break this authorship and yeah, present different perspectives at once. And yeah. Our initial question with this project was, who says that the interpretation written on the museum's label is the only possible one? And this is kind of where the idea of ArtChat was born somehow. And yeah, ArtChat is an app for augmented reality use, and you can place comments via augmented reality next to the artwork and discuss with other users, ask questions, and get connected with the art and also other visitors at the museum. Oh, perfect. Yeah, you can see a video here of the app, a little screen video from the exhibition called Subversive Design at NRW-Forum. And yeah, it's all in German, but I think you can see what's the point, that you can place a comment via drag and drop and place it anywhere in the room, and then comment something, ask questions, and discuss with the other people. Yeah, and it's an app for Android and iOS. Long way there, but we made it. And it's kind of the second digital experiment that we did with Next Museum IO. We'll present this tomorrow. Actually, it's a digital community platform for co-creation and swarm creation. And ArtChat is just one project of this. And as I said, it was in cooperation with the NRW lab from the University of Applied Science, and it was a student project at the beginning. And we had different interesting prototypes, but we thought this one is the one that led us to this initial question on the label text somehow.
Yeah, actually the students had free hand to propose a technology to do this writing, to bring their own perspective into the exhibition, and they came up with several things, and the best one was augmented reality.
Yeah, and as Yannick as well, we are part of the Fonds Digital by the German Federal Cultural Foundation, and one task somehow is like to have an open source policy, so we made it accessible and write down the technical documentation on GitHub. And there will be also a new version of the app available very soon. Okay, so these are the short facts.
The big why.
The big why, yes. So to give you some context in general, where we're coming from. Of course, you know that our daily lives are influenced by social media and digitization and the way we communicate, interact with each other, we work and we learn. And on the other hand, museums, you already mentioned it, Yannick, they are not the fastest ones, you could say. Yeah, it takes some time to get there, and they're having a hard time to keep up with the rapid pace of the development of the technology. And but at the same time, they're trying hard, especially since COVID. But there are some, developments for sure. And it's interesting to see that the rise of technology runs hand in hand with a paradigm shift in the museum. You have this buzzword, new museology by Peter Verger in the late 80s, where you have museums as spaces for community, for participation, and to focus on the audience. And to see like 40 years later, still a way to go, but we're trying. And but some museums and cultural institutions at least are received or perceived as elitist and aloof. And at the same time, as I said, social media, it's you're used to interact and to create your own content. It's part of our everyday life, so it's a bit confusing to have this break in the museum. Maybe for some it's really nice to have this, but especially for the younger generation, it's very anachronistic even. And there was last year. I don't know if you read about it from the International Council of Museums. There was a long discussion about the definition, what a museum is and can be. And I think we are at least quite happy with the outcome of it because it, among other things, says that it's important to involve the communities, to have those participatory approaches and to have those represented that are not usually. And with the involvement of communities, there are, of course, new perspectives in the museum and new ways of telling stories. And the result is that it's no longer enough to exhibit objects in the museum without context, without hearing the different voices. And this was the content, and now we have the technique. Augmented reality was quite interesting to us, and the Mirevi Lab is kind of an expert in mixed media. I mean, Mirevi is standing for mixed reality and visualizations, And augmented reality seemed to be like a very good technique for our intent, because it's hybrid, it's building the bridge between the digital and analog, and quite popular, people know it, and it's accessible. You don't need any big glasses as you have in VR, you just need your handheld device. And you need the app or even your browser if you have WebXR, browser-based augmented reality. But for the interaction, the technique is not quite there yet, so we chose to develop this app.
And you still have the real object because museums love their objects.
That's true. Yes, and that's a bit more content, but I will try to be fast with this one. Because we did some landscape studies, some benchmarking, what is already there in this direction with augmented reality in museums, and found some interesting categorizations. And the first one is already from 2017. I mean, AI has been the rise since a decade or so in museums, and this one is by the digital learning program manager of the British Museum, Shelley Menon. And she made 4 categories for the use of AI, which is outdoor guide and explorers, interpretative mediation, new media and art, sculpture and virtual exhibitions. So the 2 last ones are more on the side of the artist. And the first one is a bit, maybe you know Pokemon Go, for sure you know. And we have our Air Biennale outside in the park. This is more this way. And the others is more on the cultural education part, you could say. The next one is by Charlotte Coach from 2022, and she did a bit more focus on the content side. And you could, with VR augmented reality, you could add some explanations to the object that you represented in the exhibition, or you can bring things to life. You see that a lot in scientific museums, for example, or you have some interactive or immersive projection on the specific objects. And you can also go beyond use AR for a learning experience in general. And that's what we found, those different categories. But we thought, okay, art chat is not really fitting in those categories because it's a tool to actively participate as a visitor and to create information, to create content, and to interact with others. And for us, this was quite new. We didn't find anything else in this field. Yeah. And Marina will tell you what's new about it.
Yeah, so what's a really new thing about ArtChat? It's the use for direct participatory practice. That means it's not about bringing more professional content from the museum to the visitors. It's to bring the visitors into the exhibition. Their opinions, their thoughts, their questions. We offer a way to communicate with each other, so other visitors, but also with the museum team, in a way that doesn't disturb others who do not like this digital layer or the participatory way. This is a real difficult word, participatory. So we are combining actually the advantages of augmented reality, the qualities of participatory and personalized visitor experience, because this it really is. You go into an exhibition, you have your iPad or your smart device, you start to scan a scenery, and then you have your very own experience and your very own way of bringing yourself into the exhibition. Of course, we are not really alone. There is, for example, the debatorial from the Zeppelin Museum in Germany. If you do not know this project, you should. It's a very interesting experience. It's a Corona baby, a COVID baby. And it gives you an exhibition experience in a very special digital way. And there's also the cell from the Science Museum London. Yeah. What did we do? You have 3 pictures. You see a person scanning the QR code in the exhibition, which opens the scene. That's the picture in the middle. You see new comments. So this is the mode to post your own comment. And then you have the mixture of all those comments. This is how you see it when you open the scenery and others have already commented. It's a free download app. This was a real thing for us because in first we developed for a closed system for our own iPads in the museum, and then we decided, yeah, it's cool. We would like to offer it to others, and we would like to open it to the visitors to download the app and to keep on going at home. So we took an agency and released the app for Google Play and App Store. And it now works in the museum with the AR mode, but also at home so that you can follow the conversations at home. You have to register it or log in for use. You can use a nickname. We don't want any data from you. It's just that you have a person or a name connected to a comment. When you enter the app, then you are welcomed by a step-by-step guide. We just explain the most important functions. Then you start to scan the codes in the exhibition. We have tested it in several exhibitions. There was not much text added. It's just a code and maybe once a little explanation. But you are really in the app and use it natively. After the scanning, the scene build up, and you have a very easy drag and drop way to post your comments. You can delete them. You can read or answer comments from others. You can react with emojis, so a very short reaction, because it's all about finding words, being able to communicate, to express yourself on art, which is, as we know from our other project, a real thing. Not everybody feels up to the task to express him or herself in a good way, in an appropriate way. So we make it easy to interact by emojis. And of course, you can also report comments. If you think that's not right or it's not okay, then you can tell this to the admins, and we have a large FAQ sector. Once you're at home, you can view the list of the scanned artworks and read new comments or answer to them. Of course, you can't start the AR scenery because that only works with the QR code in the museums. So the first wave was to develop the thing with the students. Then we gave it to an agency and brought it to the stores, which was quite a development. And then after the third exhibition, we thought, could be even a little bit more beautiful. So this is what we did with the last relaunch. We are still testing, and you also will have the chance to test after this whole session. So in the early afternoon, we made it. We brushed over. We made it ready for other museums to take it over. So the code already is on GitHub, and the new code will also be on GitHub. Of course, you should or you have to do some customization, but it's quite a fair amount of code that's open source published. And what you see here are different slides. So the very first beginning, then the overview, that's the second one. MU Digital is the nickname of this user, and you have buttons for start augmented reality, the scanned artworks, my comments, and the frequently asked questions. And the other sceneries is what you see once you have opened the augmented reality scenery and the comments. Yeah. Here you see again, this is how it looks, the scanned artworks, the comments, the emoji functions, and so on. We've tested it in 4 exhibitions. That was quite interesting. This is why we know that it works and that it's fun, and that's a real plus for museums and for visitors. The last one was tested 4 or 6 weeks ago in Ulm, and we're really curious what will be the next exhibition. We're here, and you can also contact us if you have questions, if you're interested in this app, and we have prepared a little test for you.
Okay, yeah, after the slot, I think you already mentioned it,
Yeah,
that at, I think 12:30 it is, you can go outside, and we prepared some tablets and have like a test artwork, not a real one, but a reproduction, where you can place your comments. I think there are already some on it, so
Yes.
yeah, would be nice if you join us then.
We have Yolande and Patrick, our dear colleagues from our team, with us, and we will all welcome you outside with some iPads. So if you wish to test our chat with us, you're very welcome. So thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. There's a question. Oh my God.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. It was super interesting, especially for the human and non-human relationship in exhibition. So I found this really interesting. I was curious about the limitation in terms of use and who is using the app and who is not and why. Do you have data on that?
Yeah, it was quite diverse. I think at the beginning we did some how do you say, Schreibwerkstatt?
Writing workshops.
Writing workshop, yeah, okay. And as Marina said, with the long text it didn't work, so more like a pop-up tech guide for support for the, let's say older people in that case. Younger were just downloading it, and it was quite quick. And I mean, how many people, I think, it was like not everyone wanted to test it, but that's a good thing about AR, right? You don't need to use it. It's just optional. But you did some guided tours as well. I think that worked quite well for this.
Actually, this is a beautiful question because it shows the possibilities of the app. we learned that augmented reality, scanning QR codes is really easy for a younger target group. They are kind of expecting something like that in museums. But for our classic elderly visitors, this is, what the heck is this and what shall I do? So we took the chance and we offered guided sessions. We helped them to install the app on their own devices, and we took like 30 minutes to show them around and to help them to open the sceneries, because it's a little bit how you move. It depends on yourself in the exhibition. And it was a beautiful way to bring technology to elderly people. So we just took the chance to bring everybody in. The limitation, of course, is the number of comments. So we had an exhibition on racism, and the discussion exploded, and there was a moment where you were no longer able to read all those comments because it was so full.
Okay, time is up, but we will be here during the next day, so just ask us anything you want, and looking forward to meet you guys.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful conference.